What's going on, everyone? Tayler Kyles here for CLNS Media, giving you all the Patriots news and updates you might have missed from a very busy weekend at the NFL Combine. Starting with the Patriots re-signing their first free agent of the offseason, but it isn't the player a lot of people might have expected. Exclusive restricted free agent Nathan Rourke officially re-signs with the team, giving them extra depth at the quarterback position. Now, Rourke was a standout as an Ohio Bobcat and in the Canadian Football League, where he won their version of the MVP award back in 2022. He then signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2023 and was claimed on waivers by the Patriots later that season. Rourke never appeared in a game and didn't really make a splash during his time in New England, but he was active over Mac Jones in the last week of the season against the New York Jets at Gillette Stadium. So with the Patriots likely going through a big change at the quarterback position, Nathan Rourke gives them another player who they're familiar with on the depth chart in case they move on from Mac Jones and or Bailey Zappi. The Patriots also let go of a player, releasing J.C. Jackson this weekend. Now, according to Miguel Benzan or Pat's Cap on Twitter, the move will save the Patriots about $13 million in cap space, giving them $100 million overall. Now, the Patriots have been on record, Jerod Mayo specifically, as wanting to burn money this offseason, although he did mention that he was kind of embellishing and kind of pulled back a little bit on the comment. But with over $100 million, the Patriots have a lot of options, and they'll still have a ton of money left over, even if they do things like extend Christian Barmore and re-sign key free agents like Mike Onwenu and Kyle Duggar. Now, the door is still open for J.C. Jackson to return once the mental health issues that prematurely ended last season for him are settled. Jerod Mayo also touched on the fact that J.C. Jackson should be moving better as he's 2 years removed from an ACL injury. So it'll be interesting to see with the Patriots not having a ton of established depth at the cornerback position, although they do have a lot of bodies, if they're interested in bringing him back as someone they are familiar with. Again, he's someone that Jerod Mayo has coached in the past, so a little bit of continuity in the defense could go a long way, especially if a lot of the better options on the market end up either getting franchise tagged or signing elsewhere. Now, speaking of the Patriots getting some defenders and having a lot of cap space, it was reported by the Boston Herald that the Patriots trying to get at least one elite defender in free agency this offseason. Now, this is a bit curious considering there aren't a ton of elite options on the market, especially considering most of those options are likely going to get tagged, as we usually see in free agency. If you're a really, really good elite player and you end up on the market, it's usually for a reason. Now, there are some names to potentially watch, like Chris Jones, Christian Wilkins, Brian Burns, and Josh Allen, all of whom could potentially not get the franchise tag and hit the market this offseason. Now, that said, I don't think they're all great fits for the Patriots, although Chris Jones is an absolute game wrecker, so I think you would just adjust your scheme to him regardless, although he is more of an attacking style defensive tackle and not someone who really just holds the point of attack and takes up space. Christian Wilkins is in a similar vein, although obviously not as accomplished as Chris Jones, where he's better as a penetrator, not so much as a space eater, but still a very productive player who has a long track record of success. Brian Burns and Josh Allen are interesting. Josh Allen still might get the franchise tag, but he's also more of a defensive end, someone who puts his hand in the dirt and rushes that way, whereas Brian Burns would fit the Patriots as more of an outside linebacker type. So if they did want to go after someone who more fits the scheme that they currently have, I would look for Brian Jones as a good option to do that. But some other young players they could potentially have breakout seasons coming up would be Jonathan Grenard of the Texans, another guy who's more of a defensive end, plays with his hand in the dirt. He does have a history playing as more of a stand-up outside linebacker like the Patriots like, but he's very quick off the ball. His production is really starting to increase lately, and he's effective against both the pass and the run. And the Patriots don't have a lot of guys who can do both, so look for him to be a name to potentially watch, as well as Frankie Louvu, the pass rushing off-ball linebacker from the Panthers. Not only is he effective against the run and pass in terms of being a coverage player and run defender, he's also, as I mentioned, a very good pass rusher, kind of in the vein of a Dante Hightower. He can do both things depending on the situation. Also kind of in a role like a Jelani Tavai, but Frankie Louvu would be an option who could play on every down. Now, the Patriots do have pretty good depth at linebacker right now, but Jelani Tavai, Raekwon McMillan are both going to be in the last year of their deals, and we don't know if Mack Wilson's going to re-sign. So look for Frankie Louvu as an athletic, explosive player who could also add some juice as a pass rusher if the Patriots are serious about bringing in some potentially elite talent, even players that may not have broken out quite yet.
Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season, is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Use the code CLNS for the first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Going back to the quarterback market, Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network reported that people shouldn't sleep on the Patriots as Baker Mayfield approaches free agency. Now, Baker Mayfield was someone I never really expected to be a real consideration for the Patriots, considering it seemed like he really wanted to go back to Tampa Bay, which may have even been strengthened by the fact that Mike Evans re-signed on a 2-year deal to stay with the Buccaneers for the next couple of seasons. That said, there's a lot of people in the Patriots building who already have experience with Baker Mayfield. Elliott Wolf, the de facto general manager, and senior personnel executive Alonzo Highsmith were both with the Browns when Mayfield was drafted. And then offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt was Baker Mayfield's quarterbacks coach for 2 seasons when he arrived in Cleveland. So, of course, there's some familiarity there. It could potentially sway Baker Mayfield to want to join the Patriots, but there's also the fact that if there is a bidding war for Baker, he could go from someone who is looking at 30 to 35 million to about 40 million. Now, I do like the idea of the Patriots having a long-term quarterback option in place, maybe drafting somebody in the middle rounds, and then just trying to trade the 3rd overall pick and stock up on draft picks so that they can create a strong, young foundation to build off of. But with $40 million, even with all the cap space the Patriots have, I'm not sure I like Baker Mayfield for that much money. It was also reported that Baker does want to go back to Tampa Bay, and even if he doesn't, he should have a pretty robust market. So I wouldn't say the Patriots are really at the forefront. I know Jeff Howe doesn't think the Patriots are very likely, although he admits there are connections there. So keep an eye on Baker Mayfield in the race to potentially find a veteran quarterback. But more realistically, I think the Patriots are going to end up with a bridge option who's familiar with Van Pelt's system, like a Jacoby Brissett or a Joe Flacco. There were also reports this weekend from the Herald that Elliott Wolf, the de facto general manager for the Patriots, who's listed and said his title is currently director of scouting, could potentially not be the decision maker for the Patriots after this draft. I think that would be a little odd to give Elliott Wolf this much power at such a pivotal position for the team and then take it away unless something really bad were to take place. But Mike Reese of ESPN did push back on that a bit, saying that he would be very surprised if Elliott Wolf isn't the one making decisions for the Patriots front office moving forward.